father, a world traveler, always doing something, either with what they do here, of course, Zambelli Fireworks. He is not here today, but Allison, so nice to let your Pratt Pack stop here in Rochester to talk about this revolutionary medicine that is happening here in Rochester. And you know, her father has performed over 50,000 procedures in his illustrious career. He has been here since the 70s, and I've said this many times. My mother's side, my father's side, just about every generation, and I will probably be next, they have performed surgery on, and it has always come out with flying colors. I have such respect for what they do, and when he told me about this, I had to come and talk to Allison, who is the future. Her father is still here, but she, of course, is going to be a part of this brand, hopefully for many, many years to come. You know, one of the things that I've talked about, Allison, is the fact that growing older, and I will be 60 in January, one of the things that anybody who becomes older, and the older you get, you realize that your parents and grandparents were looking for the same thing. It was, well, their freedom, their independence. And I always remembered my father, who couldn't see for years because of cataracts, and my mother and grandmother. When they were picked up here or taken home, it was like they were reborn because they could see again. And when you think about the senses of smell and sight and hearing, when that's taken away from anybody, it makes them kind of, well, roll up in a ball, in a shell, if you will. And one of the things that they've been able to do here is to give people their independence back. But this truly is taking it to a new level, isn't it?
Yes, it absolutely is. And you're actually touching on some of the reasons I even chose this field, because it's so gratifying, so satisfying to be able to offer the patients their gift of sight. And cataracts affect many Americans. According to the National Eye Institute, over 20% of Americans over age 65, so you're getting there.
I'm getting there.
A few more years, have cataracts. And technology is ever advancing. And my father is always on top of the latest technology, and I have no choice but to be on top of the latest technology. And yeah, just last week, he and I were the first and second surgeons. He had to go first, but he did allow me to go second.
That was very nice of him.
Second lens, the Symphony lens.
The Food and Drug Administration, and correct me if I'm wrong, they just recently approved this, right?
Yes, the FDA approved the lens in July of this year, and the very first patient in the entire country to have the lens inserted was 2 weeks ago, and just last week, only 5 days after the very first patient in the entire country got the Symphony lens, the Dr. Zambelli put in the Symphony lens, and those patients are thrilled. The Symphony lens is truly revolutionary. It's the first lens of its kind to be approved in the United States. It's an extended depth of focus lens. It provides continuous vision over a broad range, up close, intermediate, far away distance, and patients are thrilled.
I want to talk a little bit about where the development of what you do is headed in the future, because if this is the next step, what will be the ultimate step? But obviously it has evolved, and your father has told me many stories on how he has seen it help people literally day after day, week after week, year after year, because the, well, information and education is always changing. Where do you see it heading?
It's advancing every day, and it's, you know, cataract surgery years ago was, let's get the cataract out, let's expect maybe 20/40 vision at best. That's certainly not 20/20. Patients weren't going to be able to see like they did when they were 10 years old or 18 years old. But now we do really what is refractive cataract surgery. It is ever advancing that we're able to offer better and better quality vision after cataract surgery, or with refractive surgery such as LASIK and PRK and cross-linking for keratoconus. And we're just making ever advances, with vision potential being so much better after surgical intervention.
Intraocular lenses, Symphony, that's what we're talking about today, something that's brand new, and they're doing it here in Rochester. One of the things that I remember when people had the surgery done years ago was always, you know, keep your reading glasses nearby because you will need them. Not to say that it's always nice to have them, but what about after this surgery? Do they need those reading glasses?
So the Symphony lens provides continuous range of vision over an extended depth, right, and reduces and often eliminates the need for reading glasses or glasses for computer work at, you know, at that intermediate distance. So patients are thrilled. Younger and younger patients are having cataract surgery because it's not such an invasive procedure anymore, and recovery is fast. So when 65-year-olds are afflicted by cataracts. They're choosing, okay, I'm going to do it now because there's options for me. There's presbyopia correcting lenses such as the Symphony that are wonderful options, and they're not the perfect lens like the one that we were born with,
right.
But it's a near perfect option when it works, and it's very successful.
Allison Zambelli, one of the things that I think about people that are getting older, when the vision goes, they become afraid to take a step. They're afraid to do work around their house. They're afraid to take a walk. They're afraid to drive their car. So what in essence you're doing, because people are living healthier and longer lives now, with what you're doing with the intraocular lens, it's giving them a sense of security to where they're able to continue their routine day after day that normally they wouldn't be able to. So there is a new lease on life here, right?
Absolutely. Again, we're touching on the reasons I went into ophthalmology. I mean, I'm really able to affect somebody's quality of life. I'm improving quality of life, giving them their freedom back by improving their vision.
All right, in closing, I think I hear a symphony too in my future. This sounds very interesting. Who's the typical patient? And if somebody's out there and they want to know more, obviously they can link in by going to your website and finding out about everything that you do. And it really is a short drive from just about anywhere in the tri-state. And they have an amazing office staff here, and you will feel extremely comfortable. And it'll probably be the best thing that you ever did, because it will give you an opportunity to have your independence and get that sight back to where you can continue to be independent. That's the most important thing. Who's the typical patient?
So typical patient, like I said, 65 years old, over 20% of Americans are going to have a cataract. Mm-hmm. The prevalence and incidence of cataract increases with age. The symptoms that a typical patient will experience are decreasing vision at up close, intermediate, and far over time. Objects just don't appear as clear and bright as they used to. They're requiring more light to read. They're having trouble driving at night due to glare and halos. Those are all very typical symptoms of cataract, and we'd be happy to do an evaluation and see which of the latest technologies each individual qualifies for as a candidate for.
Why would you want to consider any place else? Once again, on the edge of modern medicine and ophthalmology, here with the Zambelli family in Rochester. Thank you very much. They let me come in on such a busy day, too, to get this information out to you. Ladies and gentlemen, have yourself a great rest of the day from your Pratte.